often, but and I was in my office one day, and my boss calls me up, and he says, "I'm going to fire the HR director at 3 o'clock. I want you to go up at 3:30 and take over temporarily until we get somebody." So I said, "Okay." So he fired him at 3 o'clock, and at 3:30, I went up and became the temporary HR director. And then after a while, I noticed that he wasn't hiring anybody. And I said, "What's going on?" And he says, "Well, you're doing such a good job. You're now the HR director and the education director." So that's how I got into the business.
What is your education?
Well, HR has changed quite a bit since when I first got into it and these days and now. It used to be very people oriented. It still is very people oriented. However, it's more business now. And the buzzword, of course, now for the last year has been business partner. And HR has gone through transformation in many, many areas. We used to do a lot of things separately. Now we collectively, for instance, our corporation now has central HR, a central service that we use. And basically, my job is really to foster the business elements of the CEO and the corporation and our future plans. So where we want to go, what we want to do, I have to find ways of doing it. In the past, HR was kind of seen as a wall. In other words, HR directors were telling CEOs, "You can't do this, you can't do that. The law says this." Well, now what you need to do is say, "Okay, let's find a way around it, or let's find alternatives." In other words, you find avenues that will help the CEO do and accomplish what they want to be accomplished from a business. So it's become more business oriented, and I have a business background, so that I kind of self-taught myself. So I understand the fundamentals of that. So that's really it has been changing. The administrative part of HR, anybody could do that. That's kind of what you set aside, and that's kind of the everyday. And the other part of it is the business.
Should the goal
Read as much as you can about it. Try to look out, as I said, 5, 10, 15 years. See where the organization's going, what you want to do, what you can bring to the organization, and look back and see what works and what doesn't work. And what does work, build on it. But also try to be very efficient. And just because you're doing something good doesn't mean it can't be done better. So you should be constantly improving even the nuts and bolts of the organization and everything you do. So